It's time for the show that brings the magic right to your speakers. Ears up!
Hey everybody, welcome back. Once again, here we are talking about all things Disney, Disneyland, DCA, maybe even Walt Disney World. I don't know. I don't know if we'll have enough time.
Enough time?
I don't know.
For everything?
Yes.
All of the things and all the stuff?
For everything.
We have all the time in the world.
That's right. Until that Hayward fault breaks loose or something.
Oh, goodness.
So many earthquake things in the news bother me.
Yeah, I feel like other people know more than I do about it, and I want to know about it, and because of all the articles, I feel like they're not telling us something.
Do you think that the San Andreas movie was the way of Hollywood telling us that something big's going to happen?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I saw it.
The Hollywood Illuminati telling us.
Right? What?
I heard it was the worst.
It was.
It can't be good. It's an earthquake movie.
So have
dude.
you seen
The Rock's in it. How could it be good?
That was enjoyable, I'm not
Great
gonna lie. But have you seen what is it, The Day After Tomorrow?
Oh, I did. I saw that.
Yes.
I saw that.
It's the same movie but about an earthquake.
Oh,
okay.
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 Yeah, that one wasn't that great either.
How
but
big
it was okay.
How big was the earthquake in San Andreas?
I want to say it was bigger than the biggest ever, so it was over 9.5.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Because what was it, 7.3 for Loma Prieta earthquake? Am I
Yeah,
pronouncing that
7.3.
correctly?
It would be like,
okay.
there would be tsunamis. That would be terrible. That would be a disaster.
There was a tsunami in the movie. What a shock.
Of course there was.
California
Yeah.
would be done with a 9
Yes.
earthquake. Like,
Well, I don't know if it'd be done necessarily. It's not going to like fall off the side of the country or anything.
it'd break in half.
But we'd be in trouble. Like I live.
Yeah, we're in the
I
middle.
live by the bay.
No, you'd be
I
in
live
trouble
right
for sure.
by the
You'd
bay.
be gone.
Yeah, we'd be
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, okay.
Tara and I'd be all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
we'd be on the cusp, I feel.
You know, there's a big story about the fault they kind of just recently found up in the Pacific Northwest, like right through Oregon and Washington. And they say a good-sized quake there will cause a tsunami that will wipe out everything left of the I-5 corridor.
Really?
Just remove it, because
Yikes.
it's built on that kind of ground that turns more into like quicksand when it
Right.
rumbles. You know, so things would just fall apart. Nothing has foundation, but it's the tsunami that would take everything because there's not a lot of hills to protect anything. People don't have an evacuation plan. Even though they know that it's a tsunami warning, like tsunami area,
Right.
there's nowhere for anybody to go.
Right.
Like the guy who was writing the article was like, yeah, I live in this area, and I was trying to tell my people about it. There's a school, whatever,
Right.
and they're like, oh yeah, our evacuation plan, we have one, and we go up to the hill behind the school because you have about 15 minutes
Okay.
of a warning. The hill is like 6 feet below the minimum level that a tsunami would reach. So it's even if it's even
you're
at
done
best
for.
case scenario for a
Yeah.
giant like 9.0 or whatever, you're still done.
So we should all move to Fresno, is what you're saying?
Fresno, yes.
Yes.
Yes
okay.
now.
Yes.
But
Fres,
that
yes.
totally puts the kibosh on Taryn and I moving to the Oregon coast or whatever. It was like kind of
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a
that's-
pipe dream.
No.
No, there's no way.
No. There's no way. Anyway, you guys can't move there.
Why?
Because I'm not there.
But it's
Well,
just
that's
so
true.
nice there.
Well, it's not like we see each other anyway all
It
the
is
time
nice
anyway.
there.
We kind of do.
Well, yeah, we kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you guys can't move.
Okay.
Unless
It'd be
you
a
go
lot
to-
longer drive to Disneyland.
Yeah. We'll fly at that point.
Gloves is in the chat going, wow, a bunch of downers right now. Yeah. That's what happens, man. You crash every once in a while. Anyway, here we are. We're talking. We're going to talk some cool things today. Actually, we're going to talk a little bit Ant-Man. Ant-Man movie came out, and I'm having my nephew Anthony back on because he did such a good job last time, kind of breaking down for us what's going on in the Marvel universe and why Thor matters, which I still don't know. But we're going to have him on for a little bit to talk about what Ant-Man means to the Marvel universe and what to expect next, because there's a lot of folks who really care about the Marvel universe. I don't really, but whatever.
Agreed.
Terrence is going to rap a little bit about Pinocchio. He saw that, and he did that for our second Disney animation movie review. And then I'm going to take you through the history of Toontown. Then we have some Disney news and our fact of the show, and that's it. But first, all the important information. We're on TuneIn Radio, iTunes, Stitcher. Rate us on iTunes. Do all the things that we got to do in life to be a part of the world. We're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Feedback, it goes to Taryn. Compliments go to Terrence. If you want to say hi to Bev, that goes to Bev. Anything else, Jason, and it all ends with earsup-podcast.com. Don't forget to check out the blog. We have more cool Disneyland info, such as the aforementioned Disney movie reviews. We're running through every full-length featured theatrical released Disney animation. Terrence just did Pinocchio. I did Snow White last time. Taryn and I recently tried to watch Fantasia, but we kind of failed. But man, look, I think it's a mistake if Disney is not going back to hand-drawn animation. They've said that last year. Everything's going to be computer animated, and it's a mistake. I think it's just a mistake. There's such a good, gritty, analog feel to that kind of stuff, man. I don't know. I like it a lot more. Support us, please, on various ways. If you shop via Amazon, hit up our link on the homepage first, which is earsuppodcast.com, and then we're embedded in your little system there. We also do donations, we receive donations rather. We don't donate anything. Either a one-time, you got $1 a show. If you have $1, throw us $1. We also have reoccurring donors. If you want to be a reoccurring donor each month, you can set that up too, and it's a great way to support us. We are using that money, actually. We're not just buying Disneyland sneakers or anything like that. We have invested. We're doing a little bit of merchandising. We have a really rad shirt coming out. Actually, by the time you hear this podcast, it will already have been out and probably doing gangbusters. I probably drove here in my Tesla. That's how great it's going to be. It's really, really cool. We hired a fantastic artist who's a fan of the show. Lulu, if you're out there, thank you very much. You did a wonderful job. Don't tell anybody what it is if you're in the chat. But it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, and I don't know. I really think it's cool. So we're trying to do stuff like that. So thank you to all of our donors who have helped us achieve this, because we literally couldn't have done it without you. Your money's being put to good use. Not only is it paying to keep us alive here, but we can now actually start doing merch, and I think we have a little bit to contribute to the world of the Disneyland art. You know what I mean? Because I don't. Covears, you can buy some Covears also. Get Covears, GETCOVEARS.com. Little stretchable designer fabric covers for your Mickey Mouse ears. They're pretty cool too, and that helps us out as well. Taryn, feedback. That was the other segment we needed. We were talking about beds for segments. We need one for feedback.
Well, and I thought of another one too. So
okay.
Okay. The first one we've got today is from Jeff. He says, "Hello, Taryn. I thought I would share some information that I compiled for a coworker a while ago that may help your trip planning to Disney World. Hope it helps. Tips. There are lots of characters to meet at Disney World. Think about getting an autographed book and pen on the first day.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's stupid hot in Florida, so you will have to
stupid hot.
I know.
You'll have to drink a lot. If thirsty throughout the day, consider getting ice water from restaurants. It's free. Bring Mio concentrate drinks. They're the little water flavor things, and add to water for flavor. Most rides are not worth waiting in line for longer than 45 minutes. If busy, consider coming back later, early in the morning. If possible, save fast passes for the evening when the rides get busier. Some rides are high capacity, and despite having long lines, may move very quickly, i.e. Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a small world. Rides are less busy when the fireworks are on. Consider this if you're not interested in the fireworks. And I really like this one. Consider eating at the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. It's not fancy, but it's a unique dining experience of eating in a car while watching old sci-fi clips play on the drive-in screen.
Yes, I would love to do that.
That's
Yes,
cool.
please.
I think that sounds
awesome.
Cool.
It sounds really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Don't fret too much over travel between the parks. It really isn't as bad as people are making it out to be. Looking at the Grand Floridian, it appears that getting to all the parks will be easy with the exception of Epcot, where it appears you will have to transfer. Because your trip is 6 days, I would get the park hopper. You will likely spend a full day at I wouldn't get the park hopper, I'm sorry. You will likely spend a full day at each park and 2 days at Magic Kingdom. Use your last day to hit whichever park you want to spend extra day at. Epcot is likely a park where you could do it in a half day, but they have opportunities to consume alcohol, so you can likely spend some extra time there. I have also attached a spreadsheet of attractions. My wife bugs me about using spreadsheets too much. Disney World,
I have a spreadsheet to explain to her how my love of spreadsheets.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he says Disney World is kind of like they took Disneyland and spread it out over 4 parks, then filled them in with less likable attractions. And then he says congratulations on the engagement. And he wishes us a very happy wedding, honeymoon, and Disneyland-filled lives.
Wow.
That
That's
was
awesome.
very nice.
It
was
was,
very
and I
nice.
think I think some of those are maybe for families with kids a little bit more than us. Like I don't know if we're gonna get autographs from characters, but I think it's really good for listeners too to know that stuff. But the sci-fi dine-in thing, I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So we'll have to figure that one out and try and do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
So that's now that's 2 for park hoppers, 2 for not park hoppers.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, next one is from Scott. I recently discovered your podcast and have been thoroughly entertained each time I tune in. I am 33 and also a Disneyland enthusiast from Northern California. I find myself relating.
I like how he's not a nerd; he's an enthusiast.
I find myself relating to you in so many ways as my Disneyland experiences have been so similar to yours. Most Disney podcasts come from the perspective of Los Angeles area residents whose park experiences are much different than those of us traveling in. I love the contents of each show, the banter and information provided. Keep it up.
Awesome.
Disney World advice from a fellow Northern Californian. In 2012, my wife and I also went to Disneyland on our honeymoon and had a blast. We just got back from another Disney World trip in June to celebrate our 3-year anniversary. This trip was much different from the first as we were fully immersed in the Magic Band experience. At first, the Magic Band seems very intimidating, but try to think of them as a bonus, and you'll have a great trip. Eat at Epcot as much as possible, as the restaurants and snacks are amazing and the variety is plentiful.
Okay.
The one piece of advice I have is definitely get park hoppers.
Oh,
There you go.
counter to our friend Blobber.
Yeah.
But Pink Bunny was saying that last show,
She said
right?
to also do
Yeah.
that. I've heard some people advise against them, but when my wife and I heard this bad advice, we were blown away. Each park, each day park hours vary widely, and for instance, Animal Kingdom closes around 5. One of our favorite things to do is plan events in the day at one park, freshen up at the hotel, and then return to another park for a nice dinner and new nighttime adventures at another park. The transportation systems are great, and the park hopper will allow for a relaxing and fun-filled experience. Have fun, and I hope to see you in the park one day.
Nice.
Great
Yeah.
advice.
And you know, the 2 groups of people that we've gotten advice to get the park hoppers are at least I know for a fact are people that don't have kids, or I assume maybe they did actually. I don't know now that I think about it, but like a newlywed couple
Yeah.
going to Disneyland, so they didn't bring their kids, and then
And then Bunny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's face
Interesting.
it. Pink Bunny probably has 1,000 kids.
well, that's
We just don't know.
probably
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I've just
Each-
never
yeah.
heard of them.
Each
Right.
time. Yeah, 1,000 kids.
Each
yeah.
time.
I mean, they're bunnies. Is that it
Just
for
blue
feedback
bunny,
turn?
green bunny. Yes,
Okay,
it is.
perfect. So let's get Anthony on the line here. Anthony, are you with us, my friend?
I am
How you doing, buddy?
doing good. How are you?
Perfect. So you did such a crackerjack job of running us through Thor and why he matters to anybody outside of weirdos and Vikings. That I wanted to have you on back to talk about Ant-Man. You just saw Ant-Man and you kind of previewed that movie for us a little bit on your last appearance on the show and explaining why Ant-Man, why we're even talking about Ant-Man. And you saw the movie last night, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we went and saw it. Me and Heather went and saw it last night.
And okay, so let's run through it real fast. Why do we care about Ant-Man? If you can give us just a brief background. I know it's hard because, like you were saying last time, these kind of characters in the new Marvel movies, they're kind of heavily intertwined with each other, right? And so, in order to tell one side of the story for like the Avengers or whatever, you have to break down these backgrounds, right?
Yeah, so I was a little surprised. I think that this Ant-Man is going to have a lot more relevance than I would have expected it to. I think they're going to tie in a lot, and there's a lot of hints that were dropped throughout the Ant-Man movie itself that kind of gave way to the future of how Marvel is planning things. And obviously, Ant-Man is the end of Marvel's Phase 2, which means we won't be seeing the next Marvel movie until, I think, May of 2016 when we kick off with Civil War. So, and that's the start of Phase 3, which is a big thing. So Ant-Man coming in now was kind of a bit more of a momentous occasion than I would have expected it to, with everything that's kind of going on at the end of Phase 2.
What's going on?
So pretty much everyone is in disarray right now. Thor's freaking out about some visions in the Infinity Stones. We saw that
Okay.
in the Avengers: Age of Ultron. Tony Stark is all depressing and emo about nearly destroying the world. So he's out of the
Well,
Avengers.
Look, I'm going to cut him a little slack on that. I'd be kind of depressed too if I almost blew the world up. All my stuff's here.
That's true. That's true. I mean, he has a right to be kind of being emo right now. So that means, of course, that Captain America has stepped up to the plate right now. But Captain's all over the place because he's pining for his old, friend from way back when. And so he's kind of lost in that whole situation. There's all the stuff that's going on with Shield. Shield's completely in disarray. So all of our main heroes, and the Hulk obviously is gone too. We don't know what's happening with him. I have my theories on what's happening to him. Another story. So you've got all this stuff kind of going on, and Ant-Man coming in means that we could start to see parts kind of reintegrating as far as the Avengers. But we know going into Civil War, there's going to be two sides. So it's interesting to see how they're going to take Scott and branch out with the different sides in
Who's
Civil
Scott?
War. Scott is Ant-Man. Scott.
Ant-Man, okay.
So there's Hank Pym is the original Ant-Man, which he is in the movie. He's the older guy. He's like the actual Ant-Man. I didn't ever read much about Scott, so it'll be kind of interesting to see how they correlate him into the Avengers, because it's more Hank Pym that was an Avenger, and the original Avenger, not one of he is part of the second generation, but there's a little kind of loose interpretation there, I think, going on.
Okay, it sounds like they're kind of playing a little bit with the Avengers movie history versus the comic book history.
Well, definitely.
Okay.
They kind of have to, because there's still Fox rights problems with the X-Men and stuff, so they can't tie into the Avengers. They've already messed up the storyline with Ultron because Ant-Man was actually one of the creators of Ultron. So there's still stuff that's kind of inaccurate, but it doesn't really matter as much. If you're a nerd like me, it does.
And see, I'm an origin story freak, and
Yeah.
to me, it's like if you're not going by what the original people who created the idea, then I don't want to see it. I don't care. But I don't know enough about this kind of stuff to have an opinion one way or the other. So I just kind of go, oh, look at the effect, and then I eat popcorn.
Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people feel about the Marvel movies in general, though, right now, is that it's kind of just yay, explosions and funny banter, and which Ant-Man was great for that.
Okay.
It was basically another Tony Stark Iron Man movie.
It would have to be. I can imagine.
Exactly. Well, because there isn't really, I don't really know much about plans for Iron Man at this point. There's none in Phase 3, so they kind of have to have their new Tony Stark wit and humor kind of thing that they're bringing back to the table. So Paul Rudd does a great job with that. He was funny. He made a really good Ant-Man. I was actually very surprised. The movie was enjoyable. The fight scenes were great. They were funny too, which was kind of weird. I can never take a villain seriously if he's funny. I just can't do it.
Except the Joker.
But Joker's not funny, haha funny. He's more funny as in, oh my god, I'm terrified. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
So,
you can do what with my teeth? That's funny. I'm gonna leave now.
Right, exactly. But that Ultron suffered that problem too. He was funny, and I was you're gonna destroy the world, but make me laugh first. Okay, that's cool.
Hey, he sounds really nice.
Yeah, great guy. Would have been friends with him. We totally wouldn't have Facebook friends.
Not for long though.
No, he probably couldn't stand my spam.
Trust me, most of us can't. Anyway.
I can't.
So okay, what did we learn from Ant-Man as far as moving forward into the whole Marvel deal?
So what we've kind of learned, there's some big hints as to what's actually happening. One of them comes from one of the post-credit scenes, which I actually had to learn from through a friend, because we didn't stay for a second post-credit scene, but I found out there's another one, where you learn that Captain and Falcon have found Bucky. There's a hint that he drops about Iron Man not being able to help out because of his own accord, which hints to the Hero Registration Act, which is this big deal. This is actually what causes the Civil War because Tony Stark endorses registering as heroes. Captain America doesn't, and then they go through their I hate you phase at that point.
Okay.
So that's the first hint that's been dropped about Civil War. We got some hints about what's coming up with Ant-Man as far as his future. There was a big thing in there about the quantum realm, which is a kind of an existent state that's beyond human mentality. And it's something that's going to get brought up a lot when the universe kind of expands, when we introduce with Thanos and kind of everything that's all of these ideologies that are completely beyond our understanding. So that was a big deal. Wasp, at least the second generation of Wasp, was introduced. So we'll probably be seeing her. I don't think we'll see her in Civil War, but we'll probably be seeing her more towards the Infinity War, which I think is slated for 17 or 18. I'm not sure.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The biggest thing, though, is that Ant-Man himself, they kind of staged for a hatred between him and Tony Stark, which would be interesting to see if he jumps on Captain's side or if he tries to take the lead, because Ant-Man, is one of the leaders of the Avengers. So there's no real clear indication on how he's going to fall towards, this whole Civil War issue. We're definitely going to see him in Civil War, but as far as, who he endorses, it's kind of unclear. He does actually end up fighting one of the Avengers at some point, but he kind of develops this little bromance with Falcon. And Falcon, I think, is going to be playing a big part, a lot more than people expect him to. Because there's, this huge debate on who is going to be taking the shield when Chris Evans gives it up.
Chris Evans is Captain America?
Right.
Captain America,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
He will die at the end of Civil War.
Spoiler alert!
Right?
Just
kidding.
it's in the
this
comic
is one
books, so.
It's one man's opinions,
Yeah.
But they've been grooming Bucky to take over to take over Captain. But now we've got Falcon in here, and he's starting to play a bit more of a better role. I also like him a lot better than I do the Winter Soldier. So there's hints to him kind of becoming the next Captain America. So we learned a lot in one movie, which is interesting because even though it hints a lot about the future of the Avengers, Ant-Man still felt like a standalone movie, which was nice. It didn't feel like it was, here's more endorsement to Tony Stark and Captain America. So.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. I won't pretend that I know anything about any of those characters, but I don't have to. I guess.
I mean, did you see Captain America: Winter Soldier or?
Yeah, I believe I did. I believe I did. That's when him and his brother, one had magical powers and had to run away because he would freeze everything, and then they came together. That's the one.
I literally have no idea what you just described.
Oh no, I think that
Did you just describe Frozen?
is that what it was? I get those two confused so many times. I'm so sorry.
I know how you get that confused. They're pretty close, right? Elsa and Captain America. I mean, they both have blue, right?
Sure.
And
I'll take your word for it. I don't know, man. Well, Anthony, it sounds like we're up for a lot of I don't say meta Marvel, but just a lot of second and third tier Marvel characters in the coming years. Yeah.
Well,
Is
we're gonna
that
see
good?
all
Is
of
that
them.
bad?
We're gonna see all of them in Civil War. So
Okay.
we at least get one last movie with all of the greats, but we've still got a lot of big guys coming up for Phase 3. Personally, I'm really stoked for Panther. He's one of my favorite Avengers. There's stuff going on with the Inhumans, so we're still going to see some big heroes pop in, which is good.
Okay.
A lot of people think that are going to at least be up to the challenge of replacing the first generation. But like in anything, it's hard to beat the originals. It's the same with the Justice League. Modern Justice League is terrible versus the original.
I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know why they do that.
Well, they have to cycle stuff out every now and then. Like Marvel, the comic book is actually killing off like everyone right now.
Hmm.
Half the people have died in Marvel, and they're rebooting everything. Same with DC. DC is going through a whole recycle basically. I mean, they started with their 52 series, and that's failing, so they're gonna kill off everybody. So, you know what happens? It's a cycle. Granted, Marvel's been doing it to like a huge extreme. I mean, they killed Wolverine, Magneto. They're killing Spider-Man. They're killing everybody.
Wow.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe. You can't be safe. Even superheroes aren't safe.
No, it's Game of Thrones for comic books right now. It's ridiculous,
Look at that analogy, Anthony. That's pretty good.
right? I'm proud of myself for that one. I wanted to high five myself at that moment.
I think
just,
you can. Just your left and your right hand. It's like one clap.
But I'm not that lame. You did it, and I know you're that lame.
I'm
But-
pretty lame. That's true. Speaking of lame, you also do a lot of cosplay. What's your? I'm sorry. It was too easy.
mean.
That was so
That was an
mean.
alley oop
Wow.
right there. 3-point swish. What's your Facebook? How can people find out if they're into cosplay? Find out what you're doing, because you did a lot of stuff, man. You went to San Diego Comic-Con and basically killed it, right?
Yep. Oh yeah, San Diego Comic Con was a blast. Met a lot of celebrities. Made it onto some pretty good news networks. I made it on the Stars Network. Got a lot of interviews and front pages again this year, which was
Just based on your cosplay. I mean,
What's
it's not just based on your cosplay, because it's not your personality or your looks or anything.
no, God
Yeah,
no,
right.
no. If I just walk around just me, nobody, no.
Zero.
Yeah,
Goblin
it's 'cause
Anthony.
I had blood all over my face, and but yeah, people can find me www.facebook.com/the Ronin cosplay. It's RONIN cosplay. Take a look, and I'm always open if anyone ever wants to nerd chat for a while. I could pretty much do this all day, every day. I think I do on more occasions than not.
It's true.
But yeah, you will be. We actually have some Disney and Marvel cosplays coming up this
really?
year. Yeah.
Well, I always say that I started the cosplay in the family because Taryn and I were the Haunted Mansion stretchy painting people. So
Totally.
you're
Yeah.
once again you're
Copying
coming
you.
after me. Yes, you are, and it's fine. This is fine.
Yeah, hipster Jason. All right, cool.
Whatever,
Yeah,
Anthony.
went there.
You did.
Did.
Well, but to set up camp there. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Anthony. Thank you. I appreciate the time, buddy.
Always a pleasure.
All right.
You guys have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you too.
Bye, Anthony.
Bye, Anthony.
Bye. Bye, Taryn.
Whatever. That's my nephew, Anthony. You got to keep it in the family sometime. No,
He's
look.
very nice and very, very informed.
Yeah,
Very.
kid knows what he's
Yeah,
talking
like,
about,
he knows
man.
lots of deets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was interesting. Do people care about Marvel? I don't know that.
I think if you care about Marvel, that was interesting. However, if you don't care about Marvel,
I was sitting going, does that make good radio? I don't know. I'm like all whatever. Anyway,
I'm a DC guy. Whatever.
I don't know. We'll see. All right, Terrence, Pinocchio. Just do it real fast. How was watching Pinocchio, man? When was the last time you had seen Pinocchio before this?
Before this, I saw Pinocchio exactly never. So this is the
Really?
first time. Yeah, it's the first time.
Wow.
And so we couldn't find it. It's not on for sale on iTunes or anything like that. So we found a place to legally stream it.
Yeah.
And watched it, and I thought it was great. My kids weren't really into it that much,
Mhm.
but I thought it was great. It was well done. Learned a lot about their origins, if you will.
Oh,
So and all of it's in the blog. Some of the things I learned from it. I thought it was a good movie, and definitely at that point it was by far the best full length movie that they had put out, because Snow White's terrible.
Terrible.
Not terrible.
Oh, it was terrible.
It's
But they did
terrible.
learn a lot.
Yeah, they did.
So
They did.
Pinocchio being their second full-length animation, Snow White's the first. You can tell the production value is a bit better. The storyline
Yes.
is a little bit more developed.
Yeah, no 30-minute dance sequences.
Yeah.
The story actually moves along. Like I said, a couple things somewhat risque in the movie. Some of
Absolutely.
the things they do on Pleasure Island, but overall it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, I would see it.
The boys didn't care too much.
Tommy's 2,
Yeah.
so he was in and out, running around the house watching. Jack was watching and then not watching and then watching and then not watching. But the only part he really got was the whole, Pinocchio being locked up thing.
Uh-huh.
And that was a great teaching moment. It's like, that's what happens when you don't listen. That's what happens to you. So now he even says, I don't want to go to jail, so I'm going to do what mommy and daddy says. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's correct. Okay, well,
But
go
it
check
was
out the blog there, and you can see all of these. We're going to be posting all these. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Let's see if this works, because I'm having some audio problems still. This one or this one?
Have
Why aren't you
sound.
playing?
Sound.
Why aren't you playing? Nothing in this stupid website's
Wow.
playing. What's going on here? Okay, well.
Too bad.
Anyway, I was hoping to do this really awesome intro to the history of Toontown with sounds from Toontown on this website I found, and
Children crying.
and it's not
Mommy,
working.
can we leave?
It
Please.
is not working.
So-
yes, Taryn, go ahead.
Nothing. You go.
Great. So I decided to do the history of Toontown because the last time we were at Disneyland, I went to Toontown, and I actually enjoyed myself. I like Toontown. You guys hate Toontown. I don't know why. And so I wanted to tell you about the history of one of my favorite lands.
You're so crazy. Sometimes I feel like you do this stuff just to irritate all of
He's
us.
just trying to.
But-
I've heard you say that you think Toontown is terrible.
Well, okay, so me
Changed
too.
my mind.
Except that he actually did in the last trip. He's like, no, I really like it. And I was like, well, you're the only one, so you need to do the history.
I vaguely recall this happening.
I like Toontown. I think it's great. So, here we go. And Terrence is a way better person at the history shows than I am. But we're going to, I'm going to give it a shot here. Toontown first was a concept called Hollywood Land. It was combined with a concept of something called Mickey's Birthday Land,
What?
as well as a
How weird.
concept found in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which opened in 1993, I think it was. So they took these concepts and formed Mickey's Toontown, which of course is behind Fantasyland. There were going to do something at Disney MGM Studios, but all that was canceled. But they did build an exact replica of Toontown in Tokyo Disneyland in '96. They have something in Disneyland Paris called Toon Studio. Apparently, Toontown didn't translate very well. And Walt Disney World and Hong Kong Disney are the only Disney resorts to have neither a Toontown or a Toon Studio. Mickey's Toontown opened in Disneyland on January 24th, 1993. Now, originally, Roger Rabbit was set to be the star of his own land behind Main Street, USA, which was called Hollywood Land. And the before-mentioned Mickey's Birthday Land was something going to be in at Magic Kingdom for Mickey Mouse's 60th birthday.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
Well, what do you mean behind Main Street?
They were gonna. I want to think it was maybe where they were gonna do Liberty Street or something like that. They were
Okay.
planning on doing some construction kind of off center, so that's where we would have Hollywood Land. Is
Okay.
kind of more towards Main Street. Yeah, kind of weird, right? So
Yeah,
so
really
they
glad they didn't do that.
yeah, so they ended up taking these different. Come on, Mickey's Birthday Land.
Yeah, what
That's
it,
horrible.
But I wonder if that was just going to be where you would funnel all the kids for the
Yeah.
birthday party.
that's what it seems like.
But to me, that would end up being more like a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
Sounds like it.
Which is the exact opposite of the happiest place on earth.
Well, the Hollywood Land idea is kind of interesting. Like if it looked like when you first bust through the wall.
Yeah.
When they bust through the wall in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That'd be,
that would be kind
that
of
would
cool
be really
looking.
cool.
Yeah, it would be neat. I liked the Hollywood Land because, in case you don't know, Hollywood was called Hollywood Land. They had the famous Hollywood sign said Hollywood Land,
Right.
and then the land burnt down or whatever, and so now it's just Hollywood. But the attractions in Hollywood Land were going to be based on Roger Rabbit, Judge Doom, and Baby Herman, and that was going to be like Disneyland Hollywood Studios and Tokyo Disneyland. But apparently, after the disaster that was known as Euro Disney, because financially, Euro Disney, Disneyland Paris just tanked, so they decided we're not gonna do any of this. So they decided to blend those ideas together to make Mickey's Toontown, and like I said, that opened in '93, and they even wrote a backstory, which I really like.
Okay.
Choosing to live away from the hustle and bustle of Hollywood, Mickey Mouse moved to a Toon suburb in a hidden part of Anaheim in the 1930s, keeping in touch with his humble Midwestern roots. His friends followed suit and built their own houses nearby. When Walt Disney was looking for a location to build Disneyland, Mickey pointed him towards a large orange grove nearby for him to build his park. When the park opened, Mickey and his friends traveled between their Toontown homes and Disneyland to meet the countless guests that visited the park. Eventually, in 1993, Mickey and his fellow Toontown residents decided to open their hometown to the public for visitors, digging a tunnel through the berm, which is where the train goes through.
Okay, that's
Right?
cute.
It's kind of a cute,
Really cute.
backstory,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It actually no, I'm saying
Yeah, it is, right?
actually is.
So Mickey's Toontown is of course, one of the 8 themed lands in Disneyland. Blah, 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 blah. I'm skipping my notes because I'm boring myself.
We're not bored.
Okay, that's good. Since '93, Mickey's Toontown has been featured as the hometown for Mickey and friends in various media, including television shows, films, and video games. However, comic book stories still depict Mickey and Goofy as residents of Mouseton. And Donald living in, where, Terrence? Where's Donald Duck from?
Oh, come on, I got it.
I can't remember.
In DuckTales.
Oh.
I think it's even in the song.
What, Duckburg?
Yes.
Thank you.
The area was also the inspiration for the Kingdom Hearts series, Disney Town, Kingdom Heart, I don't know what that is, Epic Mickey. That's a game that we played, which is terrible.
It's not terrible. I love it.
There's actually a bunch of things to do, and if I didn't see this list, I wouldn't have noticed this. Attractions, entertainment. There's Chippendale's Treehouse. You can
Yeah.
go climb on. The Disneyland Railroad, of course, the Mickey's Toontown Station. Donald's Boat, which I really like. You climb on Donald's Boat. It's kind of a cool thing.
It's cute, yeah.
I like Donald's boat.
Donald's Boat's right.
I mean, there's nothing really to do there.
Well, no, it's
Well, you
it's
can
basically
pull the little, like,
it's
Abby
a-
likes it. She can
Yeah.
pull the
yeah.
little thing.
It's a
makes
jungle gym
noise.
for kids, but it's
Yeah.
on like a cartoon version of Donald Duck's boat.
Okay.
Your kids would love it.
My
They'd go
kids
nuts.
have no idea that Toontown exists.
They really should. It's for
You're
them.
such a brat.
You are kind of a brat. Gadget's Go coaster, which looks kind of scary. Goofy's Playhouse, Mickey's house, and you can meet Mickey in the back, which I think your kids might want to do. I don't know.
Okay.
There's Minnie's house also, and then Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin. Of course, everyone knows that one. They used to have something called the Chippendales Tree Slide and Acorn Crawl. Goofy's Bounce House, but now it's called Goofy's Playhouse, and the Jolly Trolley. Disney made the decision to stop running the Jolly Trolley, though a stationary trolley still remains as a photo opportunity. The reason why was never made officially public, but it goes something like this. Either California OSHA safety inspectors ordered them to stop operation because of non-existent safety restraints. There's no belt,
Okay.
lap belt or whatever, which I don't buy because there's none on the train either, or the monorail. So I don't know why. I mean, but maybe there's more kids on the Toontown one. So
Are there chains on the end of the rows?
no, I don't. Well, in the
on
only
the train.
the only
maybe?
photo I saw was the one of the one that's stationary for the photo op. So I
Okay.
don't know why they would
But what
kill
about
it.
on the Disneyland train? Are there chains on the end to keep you in?
No.
Because, well, then I don't know.
No.
Because the monorail I can understand because you're enclosed, but
Yeah, but still, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's
Okay.
very weird. Or the need for a cast member to operate the trolley and mechanics required to maintain the complex hydraulic components. The little trolley ride became too cost prohibitive for Disney to continue to operate it. So they killed it, but they still left one of the cars
Right.
for a photo.
It
op.
is a good photo op, though.
It's
I
cool,
do really
right?
like it.
If you're hungry and you're in Toontown, you can eat at Daisy's Diner, Pluto's Doghouse, Clarabelle's Frozen Yogurt, or Tune-Up Treats. Of course, there's always Tune-Up Treats. Everyone needs it. There's a couple cool things that you can... I mean, really, that's it. That's the history of Toontown.
Yeah. I mean, it's fairly
Yeah.
new.
In
as the park
1993, there's not a whole lot of story. They haven't done a whole lot to that area. They've rethemed Goofy's Playhouse, and they took out the acorn dig. Like, that's it. Otherwise, it's pretty much untouched.
right.
Wonder if they're ever going to do anything different with it.
Well,
Like,
there's a few rumors
Yeah.
that we've talked about, but I'll address that. But there are a couple little things that you can check out and be on the lookout for when you're in Toontown next. So, in keeping with the tradition of the windows on Main Street, USA, Walt Disney has a window dedicated to his accomplishments at Mickey's Toontown. And I didn't get the exact location, but I do have a photo of it, and it's from Walt's days running the Laugh-O-Gram. thing before he started,
Oh.
doing his whole Disney stuff. So it says Laugh-O-Gram. I think it says W.E. Disney proprietor or something like that.
It does.
So
Huh.
that's kind of cute. So check that out. Inside Minnie's house, obviously right next to Mickey's house, the refrigerator has a recipe for Minnie's famous chewy, cheesy chip cookies. This recipe apparently is based on a real recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Obviously, however, the cheese chips are substituted for chocolate. Well, vice versa. The chocolate chips are substituted for cheese chips. But apparently, if you write that recipe down, it makes a mean chocolate chip cookie.
Interesting.
Mickey's Toontown official seal is appropriately the seal from the 1948 cartoon Mickey and the Seal.
Okay.
That does make sense.
There you go. And then last but not least, guests may notice that the hills of Mickey's Toontown form a W, a D, and an I, all next to each other, paying tribute to the creativity of Walt Disney Imagineering.
I never noticed that.
Neither have I saw a picture of it.
Uh,
Oh, weird, right?
yeah.
The things you learn,
Kind
man.
of cool, actually.
It's not bad. Toontown did actually spark its own online video game as a massive multiplayer online deal in 2003. It did pretty good, but the final server was shut down in 2013, so you can no longer play the MMO of Mickey's Toontown. So, like Taryn was saying, there have been some rumors about what's going to happen with Toontown, and most of them revolve around Star Wars. So, right now it's kind of near where they light off the fireworks for the end of the night, so they close out Toontown early. It's not because there's just nobody there, because there's a lot of people there. I like Toontown. The plans for Anaheim that WDI is currently mocking up in their dedicated Star Wars design, this is a rumor, have now entirely new land. The Star Wars expansion was going to be, rip out Toontown. First of all, it was going to be Tomorrowland. Now then people are saying, oh, they're going to rip out Toontown. I just don't see that happening because the fireworks. I mean, they shut it down to do the fireworks. Why
Right.
would they rip it? It's going to have so many people in a Star Wars land. So
Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. That's stupid.
yeah. So this rumor is saying new land tacked onto the north of Frontierland and Fantasyland. Star Wars expansion would be accessed via the western flanks of Fantasyland beyond the old Skyway station, which we've talked about. You can see right next to the Casey Jr., to the left of Casey Jr. there. Taking over the Big Thunder Ranch area and extending to the north beyond the railroad tracks. Where Toontown is now would be more expansion and a large show building, not unlike New Orleans Square, with the show buildings for Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean stashed unseen behind it. It's this show building on the Toontown plot where the bulk of the Star Wars e-ticket and some other indoor environments would reside. That's the current rumor, but
I still don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening. I do know that they are removing some of the buildings on the property itself that Imagineering has, and they're building new buildings for them. So I think that's where we're going to have a lot of Star Wars stuff. They are making room to build something in the parks, but I don't think they're going to kill Toontown for it. It's Toontown. There's no way.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. But stranger things have happened. Anyway,
Well, hold on. So
yes,
are you finished?
I'm finished. That's the
Okay,
history of
'cause
Toontown.
I have a little fact that I found in the book, in the little Disneyland like fact book or whatever, the encyclopedia we have.
Okay.
And I was desperately Googling it because I couldn't remember the guy's name. But at Goofy's Playhouse, one of the pumpkins is actually carved to look like the face of Jack Lindquist, who was the president of Disneyland at the time that Toontown was built.
Oh, that's cool.
He retired that year.
That is a cool fact.
And it's cute. He's got like these weird little like, I don't know, dork glasses on, and
Dork
They're
glasses?
like Napoleon Dynamite
yeah,
glasses.
like he kind of looks like. Here, I can show you.
Oh, that is cool.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, he has glasses on.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I thought that was cute.
Yeah, there's always little, like, accoutrement
Yeah.
in Toontown. But anyways, I dig Toontown. And there's also, like, a lot of other little gags. There's, I think it's the Gag Factory or
Yeah.
something. It's right to the left. Right to the
Right
left.
to the left.
It's right to the left of
front and
Roger
back.
Rabbit. And it's like a fake jail, with, like, rubber bars, and then
Oh, and you
there's-
can like lift the weight.
you can lift the
Yeah,
weights, and
yeah.
there's a bunch of just little interactive stuff that you can
Makes
do
for
with
great
kids.
pictures. That's such a good photo
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, and I will say I think one of the best themed one of the best themed lines in the entire park is Roger Rabbit's cartoon
I
spin.
agree.
Oh, totally.
I love it.
Almost like it's almost more fun than the ride. The ride itself kind of makes you sick.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
I
little
think
gross.
maybe that's where measles happened.
Yeah,
Oh.
you would think because it's a big incubation chamber, but it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great. I don't know. If you haven't been to Toontown because you don't have a kid, you don't need a kid
They
to go to
actually
Toontown.
have
I love Toontown.
They have I will not agree with you. I don't love
That's
Toontown.
all right.
I don't hate it,
Yeah.
but it is not my favorite. However, having a child who is on the shorter side, she can ride Roger Rabbit. She can ride. They also have this cute little kitty roller coaster that's kind of fun.
That's the the Gadgets Go Coaster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she can ride that. So if you have smaller
Oh.
children and they want to do fun rides, that's a fun ride.
That's cool.
Yeah, and you don't have to go to DCA for it
Exactly.
because DCA is terrible. We all know that.
Oh, it's not.
I'm
Well,
also not
it has
going to agree with
Carthay.
you.
So it can't be that terrible.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Okay, that was it. Any questions? It's just really easy.
No, I
There's
understand,
nothing.
yeah.
There's nothing going on. The one thing I didn't know is that there was a window dedicated to Walt in it.
Yeah, I
had
think
no
that's
idea.
really
that.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't know
Actually,
that.
don't even. Where are there any windows
I don't know.
in Toontown?
I mean,
Oh,
it's
the
like the
Laugh
fake
Building.
windows.
The
Yeah,
Laugh
like on the
Factory.
like
No,
the
I
second
got
store. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's like the second store. Okay.
Did Terrence just tell you that windows are in buildings?
Answering the question.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment.
March in the past, present, and future with all the news that's fit to cover. It's the Ears Up Disney News.
I bet you thought I was going to be Terrence Thinks.
I was hoping it was.
I kind of was
Me too. I kind of was hoping to. We have some cool news. Not a whole lot, but let's start with this one. This is from a website in Australia. In Victoria, Australia, the number of babies named Elsa doubled in the year
Lord.
following the... Someone picked Terrence up. He just got the vapors. Doubled in
man.
the year following the release of Disney's Frozen at the end of 2013. According to the figure from the Registry of Births, Deaths, and Marriages, it's funny how marriage follows death, there were 11 babies registered with Elsa as their first given name in 2011 and 22 in 2012. In 2013, that number dropped to 19. So there were 19 babies named Elsa in 2013. A year after that, at the release at the end of 2014, 38 babies
That's
named Elsa.
insane.
Monkey.
That's a lot of babies.
Yeah.
All those poor girls are going to be in school together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elsa, huh?
They're going to have to be like Elsa G, Elsa H, Elsa F.
So far in 2015, there have been 6 babies registered with that name. Abroad, the growth of Elsa is more pronounced. In the U.S., Elsa could still be considered an uncommon name, but its popularity since Frozen has increased dramatically. There are reports that more than 1,000 girls called Elsa were born in the last year in the U.S., making it the 286th most common girl's name.
Wow. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
right?
before that movie, Elsa's not a bad name, but, like,
Do you know anybody
No.
named Elsa?
well, old
Before
lady.
Well, here we
I know
go.
an old lady named Elsa.
I know an
Really?
old lady named
Yeah.
Elsie.
There was an
So-
Elsa on my grandma's street.
I should pick her up, put her in her house. So it made the 200.
Okay, Grandpa.
Is your refrigerator running?
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Well, get it a drink of water. It's probably thirsty. So last year in 2014, Elsa was the 286th name. Guess what number that name was, if that makes any sense. Like where it was on the chart previous to that. Just guess.
It was the 200 and something?
286.
Wasn't even on the list.
Yeah, 900.
No. Previously, the name had failed to even bust the top 500 mark since 1917.
Yeah.
That's about when Elsa, the one I know, was born.
Right. I mean, come on, man. However, the Frozen effect has failed to give birth to a new generation of little girls called Anna.
That's
I
because
think
you
it's-
call her Anna.
Anna, that's a kind of,
They
it's
spell
like,
it Anna, too.
comparatively, it's the boring name.
Well, in Victoria, Australia, apparently, the name has always been relatively popular, and the number of babies called Anna has steadily held over the years. In the following year since Frozen release, there were 84 girls named Anna compared to 82 babies with the same name in 2013. So it's just popular in and of itself. The state's birth registry was unable to give a name ranking for Elsa or Anna. This is the best part of this whole article. It was also unable to reveal whether or not a Kristoff, Olaf, or Sven baby
Goodness.
had been
Olaf.
born. The names of the because for privacy reasons, it cannot reveal counts of names that involve less than 5 babies with the same name.
Well, yeah, because that's creepy.
I love that.
I'm naming our next child Olaf.
Please do.
No.
Olaf. Oh man.
Wow.
We've talked before about Disney movies getting live action remakes.
Ugh.
And we've mentioned some of these, but here's an entire list of everything that we know. Apparently, Terrence, this isn't a Disney movie, but Sister Act is getting a reboot.
Starring who?
I
I
heard
don't know.
this.
Let's find out.
It's not going to be good. I
Of
mean,
course, none of these are
why
gonna be
would you
good, Terrence.
remake that movie? It's pretty much perfect on its own.
Well, it's
It
all
was-
right.
It is.
Oh, I was gonna say no.
Oh,
It
no,
is
that movie's
great.
amazing. The second one was terrible, but the first one was amazing.
The
Second
second
one
one
was-
was actually pretty good.
Thank you.
Oh, geez,
Lauryn
back in the habit.
Hill, JLH, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
No, I know
Come
who you
on.
were talking about with JLH,
It
and
was
I wish,
bad.
I hope you never ever say
Sometimes
that
I
again.
even think I like the second one better.
I actually do like.
I
the
do,
So-
second
like, I do
one
like the little. Okay, never mind.
So we don't
Back in the
know.
habit.
better. Sorry.
We don't know who's starring it because it's not written yet. But apparently the writers, whose credits include Legally Blonde, The House Bunny, and She's the Man.
Oh, it's going to be so bad.
Oh.
yeah.
All 3 of those movies
Well, Did you hear about the other reboot that's coming out?
are turds.
Space Jam, starring LeBron
I
James.
saw, I saw you
Starring
put that
LeBron
today.
James.
Well, you guys know that movie was really excellent the first time.
It is
so
a great movie, and I still watch it.
I
I
was
can
kidding.
fly.
I was
Thank you.
totes kidding.
Here,
I've never seen that.
Actually, yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Here's a-
at the Space Jam. That's
Whoa.
right. I love that movie.
So, do you think it's going to be a good remake?
Oh no.
Okay, okay.
Oh,
Of course
I'm
not.
just making sure we're on
no.
the same page somewhere.
Yeah. Well, and this has nothing to do with Disney again, but here's a bunch of remakes that are getting made. The Craft,
Really?
Blade Runner,
That'd be interesting.
I heard about that one. Yeah.
Gremlins,
No, bad
Please tell me
news.
you're kidding.
Police Academy,
Come on.
It, which I'm actually excited
Oh,
about.
that would be
Okay,
cool.
okay.
'Cause that movie
Um,
kind of sucks.
And of course, there's the 2 Ghostbusters reboots.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so there's that.
Does anybody have any original ideas?
Well, you know, I
No.
read something in a script writing book. Oddly enough, this guy's theory on why there's so many reboots and remakes of movies is because with all of the technology that we have our phones, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have all these distractions that prevent us from going to the movies and like investing into a movie, into a new concept. So if you put Ghostbusters or if you make Blade Runner, you've already sold. You don't have to convince a certain subsection of people to go see that movie. There's already people inherently going to see it.
That makes
So you already know how much money you're making based on how many people have seen Blade Runner. I don't know how they do it, but they don't have to hard sell you on it. Whereas a movie like, I don't know, movie
Amistad.
X. Sure, whatever. The Grand
So
Budapest
weird.
Hotel, right? Whatever. You have to kind of sell people on
All I
it.
can think of.
That's random.
That was very
super
random.
I've
So-
never seen that movie anyway.
Neither have I. So anyway, that's why. That's one of the reasons why. Is because you have a built-in audience already.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that being said, here are all the classic Disney movie live-action remakes
That we can expect, or
that we can expect. That these are happening.
Oh, great.
Here we
This
go.
one I just found out about the other day. Sword in the Stone.
I'm gonna openly boo.
I haven't seen the cartoon.
Yes,
so,
you have. We've seen it together, Taryn.
Well, did I fall asleep? Because then it doesn't count.
Probably. Sword in the Stone. I'm excited about it. Well, actually, I'm not excited about it because I love that movie so much. We've already talked about The Jungle Book.
Oh, that's not going to be good.
A Game of Thrones writer-producer is writing Sword in the Stone, by the way.
That's
Okay.
gonna be a live action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting mauled.
Yeah.
Right. The Jungle Book, like I said, we talked about that. Idris Elba is Shere Khan, our favorite.
Oh,
Terrence.
nice.
Yeah. Scarlett Johansson is Ka. Ben Kingsley is Bagheera. And Christopher Walken is King Louis.
It's a
Oh.
pretty
I'm
star-studded
sorry.
cast.
That's packed.
Bill Murray is Baloo.
Oh.
Kill it. Killing
that
it.
might be great.
Yes.
We're going to the
yeah,
midnight
that might
show.
be really good.
Dude, killing it.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast. I think
I
we
am
talked
so
about that
excited
as
about
well.
this.
Emma Watson as Belle. Dan Stevens as the Beast.
Sorry.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
Oh my
Luke
gosh.
Evans. Okay, guys, come on. Luke Evans as Gaston, Josh Gad as LeFou, Ian
Okay.
McKellen as Cogsworth, Emma Thompson as Mrs. Potts, Ewan McGregor as Lumiere, Stanley Tucci as Cadenza, Gugu Mithbah-Ra, that's a name, as Plumette, and Kevin Kline as Belle's father, Maurice. The remake is due out March 17th, 2017.
All right.
I'm
gonna be
very excited about
amazing.
this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Night on Bald Mountain. We talked about that, I think, on our last shows. That's the ending segment from Fantasia, which I just watched
Oh
today.
yes. Okay.
It's really amazing. Like Night on Bald Mountain is rad.
Mhm.
It's rad. Anyway, I don't know how they're gonna remake it for a live action. I don't understand, but I'm willing to watch it. Tinkerbell. Reese Witherspoon will bring pixie dust to life when she reportedly portrays Tinkerbell in Disney's Peter Pan spinoff Tink.
This is the best casting ever because I don't like Tinkerbell, and I don't like Reese Witherspoon even more.
So you have no reason to see it.
None.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a shocker: The Little Mermaid.
Really?
Yeah,
Now,
Eh.
how?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Sophia Coppola was apparently attached to the project, but she dropped out.
That would have been kind of cool.
The rumor is that the project is still allegedly underway despite the director's exit. So they're still working on it. I guess. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. This one I would see, Dumbo. As of March, we learned Tim Burton was reportedly set to direct the film.
Please, no.
Because you know Helena Bonham Carter's going to be in it, and
She's gonna ruin
But
it
they
somehow.
broke up. He doesn't have to put her in movies anymore,
yeah,
right?
but I'm sure they're.
He still will. I'm sure they're
Friends.
like best friends or something.
Here's one for you, Terrence. Pinocchio.
Starring.
Doesn't say yet.
Okay.
Peter Hedges is set to write the script. It's in early development. It's a rumor, so it may or may not happen. Another one, Mulan. In March, this was reported by The Hollywood Reporter. The female warrior from the 1998 animated film will come to life in a live-action version.
I love Mulan. I really enjoy that
I
movie.
never saw it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it
I
either.
really, really like that movie.
Hmm.
And watching it again with Abby, I really, really like it. I kind of like what it stands for. Like it's more girl power in my opinion than Frozen. But
But how about
Yeah.
Snow White? I'm just kidding.
but I don't know if I want to watch it live. Like
A live-action version? No, because
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
look, a lot of live action takes the magic out of the animation.
Yes.
right,
Part of the magic of the story is you're telling it through a media that is not typically for these. Like animation is I don't even, I'm not explaining myself probably, but you know what I mean.
No,
like
you
animation
are.
is special.
Right.
So I
Maybe
watch,
not anymore.
I watch Once Upon a Time, which is essentially the live action of everything that you just said. Every movie that you just said was being rebooted, and
Yeah.
a lot of things get lost in the characters.
It's not the same. I mean,
It's not the
we're I think attached to these characters because they're hand drawn. They're representations of people, and once you see a real person,
imagination.
well, now they're not hand drawn, but yeah,
Right.
once you see a real person doing these things, it's different somehow.
I think it's going to be easier for Ariel though, because she can just text Eric, like, "Hey, I can't talk to you. Kiss me."
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, what's up, dude? Snapchat this.
Valid point.
Aladdin is getting a prequel. Yes, in mid-July, The Hollywood Reporter revealed that Disney is reportedly planning a live-action Aladdin prequel. The film, called Genies, will be based on Robin Williams' Blue Genie and will reportedly lead the way for a live-action Aladdin.
Too soon.
Too soon,
soon.
and won't be
Too
as
soon.
good.
I
How
just
do you?
want everybody to observe my face right now because I am offended.
Yeah. You just look normal. When are you going to be offended? How do you recast? You're essentially recasting Robin Williams.
can't
Yeah,
do
and you
that.
can't do
In
that. That's actually offensive.
A great role.
One of his best. He did
Yeah.
amazing at it.
Oh yeah.
Prince Charming will also come to life in his very own live-action movie.
Barf.
Why?
Yeah.
Who cares? He doesn't even have a name.
Don't know. It's unclear, though, if he will be the prince we know from Cinderella or Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, though EW reports Matt Fogel's script will be a revisionist take on a handsome prince. So, of course, that means I don't know what that means.
That means they don't know.
They should just
Yeah.
do a prequel for every one of the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
Every single one. Just they get their own movie.
You need to know
whatever.
how they got there, Terrence.
Right. Well, that's.
Well, okay.
You need to
so
know how they
you
got
go
there.
back to the day their moms, like they had them, and they were informed that their kid was a dwarf.
All seven people lived on the same street.
Oh man. What I feel like happened is like they had this brainstorming session of like what movies they should make, and they looked at the board and they were like, "Yep,
Done.
This looks good.
we
All
did
right,
it."
meeting over.
Yeah.
I feel like someone saw Ted for this next one and decided to do this. Winnie the Pooh is getting a live-action retelling in a film that will focus on an adult version of Christopher Robin.
Of course, it's gonna be like a tearjerker. He's gonna be like reliving
Okay.
his memories
Okay.
or
Yeah.
something.
Actually, no, I'm not. I don't have a problem with this one. I don't.
I've
May-
never really
but-
cared about Winnie the Pooh.
No,
that
nobody
much.
does.
So like, it doesn't bother me, but I'm not gonna see it.
Okay. I view it as a
Well, I
almost
think-
like a Hook kind of a thing.
We might have to
Where-
see it. Yeah, Hook was
If
real
they go
good.
that
Another Robin
direction-
Williams movie.
Well, I know. But I'm just saying, like, he left his childhood
Incredible.
behind. He goes back and finds it.
Yeah.
I think it might be good.
That could be okay. All right, you're right.
Chip and Dale.
Again, how is that even?
Disney is reportedly working on a live-action version of their Chip and Dale characters for an origin story to their detective team, the Rescue Rangers.
Yes, with Gadget and what's his name? What's the big guy's name?
I did
Chip
like
and
Rescue
Dale.
Rangers.
Yeah.
That was good.
I don't remember his name. But anyway, there you go.
Huh.
There's a
I was
lot.
offended by a lot of that.
There's a lot of bad movies coming out.
Yeah.
So, and then if you're interested in stuff like this, I found this on slashfilm.com. There's a big chart that shows Disney sequels, remakes, spin-offs, and series. It's kind of confusing, but it goes back to like the Bambi sequel from 2006 or whatever. But there's the Pinocchio, there's the Dumbo that we talked about, Cinderella. But I'm trying to find. Anyway, it basically just breaks down the entire history of how much stuff that Disney has been remaking and sequeling and prequeling and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty crazy. Tangled. They're doing Tangled again in 2017.
Are you kidding me?
A live action?
Animated TV series.
Oh.
They're also doing an animated prequel/sequel, I don't know which is which, of Wreck-It Ralph. And we know Frozen also, and Big Hero 6. That's no surprise.
Right.
I actually also really enjoyed Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
I liked
movie.
Wreck-It
that
Ralph.
was really good.
It was great.
So was Big Hero 6, though. That was a
I
great
didn't see
movie,
that.
too.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can all be good, Terrence.
They can all be good,
They can
Terrence.
all be good.
Yes.
I like to talk about some Disney numbers every once in a while, how much the park rakes in, mainly because I'm a 7-share stockholder. This one's on Time. It's called How Disney Proved That No Price Was Too High for Fun. And I won't bore you with the entire details, but, it was pretty incredible. The first outpost in Disney's amusement park empire, Disneyland, quickly became California's biggest tourist attraction. Fans of the Disney films and TV shows and their parents shelled out real cash for the fantasy experience, which I thought was pretty funny. Time listed some sample sales figures in 1957. Okay, so this is 1957 quote here. The average visitor plunked down $2.72 for rides and admission, $2 for food, another 18 cents for souvenirs.
Wow.
Just picture that in your mind already. So that's about $5.
Yeah.
Souvenirs like Disneyland pennants, maps, Donald Duck caps, all that kind of stuff. All told this year, again, 1957 year, with attendance running 11% ahead of 1956. So they're in 1956, they were whatever. In 1957, they're 11% higher. They've seen 11% growth. Their turnstiles will clink 4,500,000 times.
Wow.
In 2 years after the park opened, they hit 4.5 million people. Disneyland will gross more than $11 million in 1957. $11 million. And turn and into Disney's treasure house will flow a Dumbo-sized profit after taxes of more than $1 million, whatever. I don't know. In the park's Adventureland realm alone, and this is now current day, nearly 3 million visitors paid more than $1 million in 1956, which would be more than 8.7 million today, accounting for inflation, to sail down a jungle river. So, of course, they're talking about the Jungle Cruise.
Right.
So, the e-tickets, all the rides, they cost a quarter or whatever.
Right.
So this person is saying in 1956, Jungle Cruise made $1 million in and of itself
Crazy.
after a year of opening.
Can you imagine being the person who had to roll those quarters?
Oh my lord. Oh my Lanta.
That's pretty crazy.
Isn't it? When it opened, Disneyland's assets totaled $16 million, more than 3 times the $5 million budget that Walt Disney had originally set aside. He and his business partner, Roy Disney, expanded their vision after some of the nation's largest companies asked to buy into the fairy tale. They leased space to 55 companies, weaving product placement opportunities in between Sleeping Beauty's castle and Captain Hook's hideaway. Excuse me, this is per Time magazine again. Pepsi-Cola came in to operate Frontierland's Golden Horseshoe soft drink saloon. American Motors Corp shows Circarama movies, whatever that is. Pablum, I don't know what that is either, recently opened a brightly decorated baby changing and feeding station, complete with a trained nurse who hands out free disposable diapers, safety pins, and bottles. So already, 1955 or 56 or whatever, he knew the value of taking care of families, man.
Yeah.
The key to Disneyland's success, of course, was that few visitors felt fleeced. Walt's theme park exit polls showed that while customers' biggest complaint was the high prices, 80% said they would be back to pay them again.
So that's hilarious because that's exactly how we all feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nothing has
Nothing's
changed.
Yeah.
Like it's way too high. It's incredibly high. It's ridiculous that
Nothing has
anybody goes
changed.
there, but none of us are going to stop going.
They were already too high when it opened,
Yeah.
according to 80% of the people.
It's funny that you're talking about this because I actually had a random thought about this just today about how expensive Disneyland is and how we are all willing to pay that price. And I wonder if we're willing to, we are willing to pay that price because Disneyland is the premium amusement park experience,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is it the premium amusement park experience because we pay that much money?
I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
When you go there, you, at least I really try very hard to ignore the downsides and focus on the positives.
So, so what you're saying is basically, do they have the money to make it what it is because of the fact that we'll pay the money because of what it is?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you
feel
were saying like
no, I feel
emotionally.
it's a never-ending cycle. If they've always had enough money to just
Right.
keep making it better, it's just like I went to the state fair last week and I was so grossed out, and
Mhm.
Terrence's wife actually was like, "What were you expecting, Disneyland?" And I was like,
Right.
"Yes." Actually, I was,
Mhm.
but I paid $12 to get into the fair, and I pay $100 to get into Disneyland,
Right.
and
Yeah.
probably that's why.
And that's
I-
worth it.
Yeah.
And it's just been going like that circular motion the whole time.
Since
Like
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
You're
I think you have a good
you're
point.
paying more, but they're providing more.
Right. And they're
Yeah.
able to
Because
provide
you're
more
paying more.
Because you're paying more,
Right.
and you're paying more because they're providing more.
Well, and I think that's why it was such a big gamble in the first place,
Right,
because
right.
there wasn't he set the precedent for this.
Mhm.
There wasn't a place like this, and he
Right.
was pushing it a lot with his TV shows
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But and then what they hit 1 million people in a year or something like that.
Well, because it was the first place that wasn't just rides; it was an experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And but if you look at what I mean, it's you've seen opening day pictures. Like it was not the best way to open the park. There are a lot of things that went wrong, and there are creepy looking characters walking around. But it was still something that you'd never seen before. But if you look at what they've done since then, it has to be because they have the cash flow coming in.
oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm still gonna pay the prices because
Yeah.
it's clean and it's fantastic.
Well, and no one has done this since then. There's no comparable parks. Like I think probably the closest thing is, and I haven't been there yet, but the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Right.
It seems like they've put a lot of effort into making that really realistic and really cool. But that's the closest thing, and that's within another park that is okay, but it's still. I don't think I don't
It's
think
not on the
Universal
level.
Studios
Yeah, it's still
compares.
not well themed enough to be on the same
Yeah.
level. The only thing close to Disneyland is California Adventure and Disney World, and it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
all Disney stuff. They,
I mean,
they
even
know how
Knott's
to
to
do
a
it.
certain extent. They
But-
try, but it's not the same level. And I don't know if it's because it doesn't have the same recognition. Because keep in mind, Walt was essentially a super celebrity by the time Disneyland opened.
Yes, but also
So he had that clout, and he was pushing Disneyland on TV for like 5 years before it even opened.
but the thing
So everyone knew about it.
right, but the thing about Wizarding World that's different than Knott's or Great America or these other places is that the ride is not the main attraction. The ride is not the biggest part.
Mhm.
For everything at Disneyland, the entire queue is just as big as the ride is.
Mhm.
You spend more time in the queue looking around than you do actually being on a boat or on a
Yeah.
Jeep,
It's
but with
an
other places
all
like that, other places
inclusive
will
experience.
right. Like for instance, I went to one of our local places, Six Flags, whatever, Marine World or whatever it's called now, and they have a ride called
Discovery
Kong,
Kingdom.
or whatever Discovery Kingdom. They have a ride called Kong, and I got up to the front of the line and I asked the guy there, "Why is it called Kong?" And he goes, "What do you mean? It's painted orange. Like that's really the only thing about it is that it's just
Okay.
an orange ride." And he goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, we just call it Kong." But why something's called Indiana Jones, because you experienced
Yeah.
it the entire way through. So I think that's what was different, is that he planned everything so that it was an experience from the time you walk into the gate, walk through the gate.
Yeah.
You're completely immersed in the entire experience of Disneyland.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they are able to do that,
And-
and they make it better because that's why we pay money. It wouldn't be as fun if it was just wait, in the hot sun to go on Mr. Toad's, but everything that you see is what makes it worth it.
Can I just say how nice it was to have a mother's room to take my little infant child in and change her diaper and feed her in air conditioning and not have to lay her out on a,
That's great.
Yeah.
sidewalk.
I thank them for that as well.
It's a
Absolutely.
wonderful thing.
No.
You didn't want to see Abby's bottom.
I did not. But I do now, which is weird.
Creepy.
So apparently a couple weeks ago, and which I probably should have covered last time, but whatever, Disney pledged to invest an additional $1 billion in improvements and expansion at Disneyland in the coming years in exchange for continued tax breaks from Anaheim. So this is, folks, this is your Star Wars expansion
Yep.
money right here.
Yes.
This is your Marvel park
Yep.
that won't be in Disneyland proper, but in that parking lot that we've talked about before. This is what this is. This
Yeah.
is, you are watching Disneyland set up this push.
Expansion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Can I ask a question
of course.
in regards to that? With the tax breaks that they're getting, do
Yeah.
you think that's why they just imposed a 17% tax on hotel fees and
Oh, did they?
because they're not getting it from Disneyland?
Probably. It could very well be.
I made that number up, but they did just do a huge increase on
Oh, wow.
renting.
I don't doubt it.
Well, how
That's
much,
crazy.
How much were they asking Disneyland to pay per fireworks show?
Oh, I don't know that.
It was something crazy.
Was it?
Yeah, that was part of the tax break.
Jeez.
Go ahead.
Okay. So last but not least, plans were just announced for Shanghai Disneyland, which looks pretty cool. Terrence is blown away.
That Tron roller coaster.
Yes.
Looks fantastic.
So here's a quote from Bob Iger. Says, we are building something truly special here that not only showcases the best of Disney storytelling, but also celebrates China's incredibly rich heritage to create one of a kind destination that light and entertain people of China for generations to come. First of all, they have enough money. I don't know what that means. Anyway, we're taking everything for 6 decades of exceeding expectations. Freudian slip, apparently. Along with our relentless innovation, famous creativity. I like those words. Relentless innovation. I like it.
It is.
Anyway, so you can go check out on the Disney blog. They have like a little video. But here are some of the places that were announced. Along with Tomorrowland, it'll be one of 6 themed lands. Guests will be able to experience the Tron Light Cycle Power Run, which Terrence was just talking about, a new roller coaster style attraction where riders board a train of 2-wheeled light cycles for one of the most thrilling adventures at any Disney park. Along with Tomorrowland, we have a look at more detailed lands coming to Shanghai Disneyland, such as Fantasyland. This apparently will be the largest land and home to the majestic Enchanted Storybook Castle that we've already seen kind of plastered everywhere. In the fairy tale paradise, guests will float through familiar Disney stories on Voyage to the Crystal Grotto, hitch a rollicking ride on the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and take flight over the skies of London on Peter Pan's Flight. They may also explore the 100-acre wood with Winnie the Pooh or follow Alice through a dazzling Wonderland maze. Something called Treasure Cove will be the first pirated-themed land in a Disney park. As guests explore this pirate world, they will enter Pirates of the Caribbean Battle for the Sunken Treasure, an attraction that transforms a boat ride into a thrilling journey with cutting-edge innovations in robotics, animation, set design, and multimedia. Adventurous spirits will be tempted to board a pirate ship, paddle through the scenic cove on explorer canoes, and dine at Barbossa's Bounty. So when Taryn and I got a tour of Imagineering, they were working on this ride.
Yes. I do remember that.
So we're going to see Davy Jones. He has like the squid face guy. They were working on animatronics for that for Shanghai Disney.
So crazy.
It was amazing. It looked even broken down with just the mechanics, looked amazing.
Yeah.
And the stuff that they're doing just looks so cool. So you guys, if you go, it's going to be rad. It's just going to be rad. Something called Adventure Isle will not like a grocery store aisle,
Right.
but like island. Okay.
Island, yeah.
Will immerse guests in a new Adventure Aisle where you walk in a straight line and buy things at the end
And you
cap.
buy cereal.
Right. That's an adventure.
Delicious.
A newly discovered lost world with hidden treasures and a chance to explore its mysteries. They'll have something called Roaring Mountain, which will tower over guests and beckon them on their journey. Guests can blaze their own trails at Camp Discovery, travel around the world on Soaring Over the Horizon, which I
Ooh.
guess is going to feature a lot of like Chinese landmarks like the Great Wall and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Or embark on the thrilling rafting adventure Roaring Rapids, straight through the heart of Adventure Isle. Blah, blah, blah. Tomorrowland, we already talked about, Mickey Avenue will be the first main entry at a Disney park inspired by the colorful personalities of Mickey Mouse and his pals. In the neighborhoods of this welcoming, whimsical avenue, guests will share a hug and get a photo with some all-time favorite Disney characters. Avenue M Arcade, one of the many shops along the avenue, will feature the largest selection of gifts and collectibles inside the theme park. So it sounds like maybe they're taking that downtown Disney store and throwing it in the park, because now they have a bunch of land, right? Last but not least, Gardens of Imagination will celebrate the wonders of nature and the joy of imagination as guests leave everyday life behind to enjoy the 7 whimsical gardens. Guests will take a spin on the Fantasia Carousel, soar on the back of Dumbo the Flying Elephant, and enjoy the area's iconic Disney entertainment, including castle stage shows and something called Ignite the Dream, a nighttime spectacular of magic and light. That's a long name, dude. That ain't going on any merch. From several places in this land, guests will enjoy Mickey's Storybook Express, an exciting parade with its own musical soundtrack and colorful performers on the longest parade route in a Disney park.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine being a performer doing the same thing for 25 minutes?
Oh.
Since breaking ground in 2011, Disney and Shanghai Shindy Group announced that they are expanding the park by adding additional attractions and entertainment to allow more guests in its opening spring of 2016.
It's so interesting because it sounds so different
Yeah.
from all the other parks.
Yeah, and which I kind of like,
Yeah.
but it's a little disappointing because I'm never going to China. Let's just be clear about that. I don't have
Yeah.
any desire to go to China.
Right.
I'm not going to support well, I'm not even going to get
Yes,
into it.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. But I'm not doing it. And I will never get to see these cool things.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Oh my God, I'm so sad. Anyway,
Well, and China's really, really crowded, so it makes me think that Disneyland in China is going
It's
to be
gonna
like
be
the seventh circle of hell.
extra crowded, dude. Yeah. It's going to be amazing. I wonder what it's going to do, if it's going to impact Hong Kong Disney, like their numbers, because they're kind of close.
Maybe.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not, right? Because we have Disney World and Disneyland. Can you
Right.
imagine if there was no Disney World? And Disneyland would be, you couldn't get
It'd
in.
be unbearable.
It would be unbearable. It'd be
Yeah.
like a lottery system to get in.
We probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have this podcast because we'd probably hate it.
Yeah, I know. It'd be the
true.
I Hate Disneyland podcast. That's what
Yeah,
it would
why
be.
is everything so terrible? All right, it's time for the fact of the show, and we're going to leave. It's a short fact, but I like it. It's one that I really enjoy. At one time, Disneyland used to put real people inside the Haunted Mansion to scare guests.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Apparently, a few guests, or apparently a lot of guests, got jaded when the ride opened because they had been and they know everything, and so they kind of whatever. So they were just kind of complacent. And,
Right.
yeah, they would put real people. The most famously was in the suit of armor,
Oh, that's so scary.
and they would just come out and scare them, like move or whatever, and it would kind of give people a thrill. And even
Right.
the most diehard Disney fans
That's,
didn't know that it was going to happen or when it was going to happen or whatever.
That's
so it was
cool.
kind of another element.
I wish they would do that still.
I wish they would do that
actually.
again. That'd be kind of cool, man.
Sometimes I look at that thing and I'm like, what's in there?
Sometimes I do wonder as well.
Yeah, it has the Gonzo nose.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway,
It's an employee. They just left him there.
yeah. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. We really appreciate it. Another long show, but what else are we gonna do? Anyway, until next time, folks, we'll see you in the parks.